Yesterday we talked in terms of let there be darkness. Let there be darkness. And this was a statement that was made by Ben Ami in the
Yes, sir.
book An Imitation of Life. Is actually the first chapter, and it is very significant to me that this title was chosen for the first chapter of a book called An Imitation of Life. And now, see, because we said that if we fail to understand or comprehend the divine feminine, this element, this divine element um, of what we refer to as the Godhead or divinity, if we fail to understand or even recognize the descent or the fall into the material planes of the divine feminine, like we said before, you'll have a difficult uh, and impossible time trying to discern properly life experience and the uh, the true nature, the true nature of life and death, family, the true nature of life and death in the physical planes.
That's
So
correct.
we have been careful to keep emphasizing this and to keep all of our observations as we present, our observations and the presentation of the knowledge within that framework, because anything else, Nasi, doesn't work.
Don't work.
And
Testimony don't work.
and you will only see and experience life as an imitation,
Right.
and you will not understand how uh, we ended up in the darkness. In the darkness, if you don't understand the descent of light relative to the divine feminine, we're going to deal with that today. So we understand that as we descended, family, as we descended into the unknown physical realm, that we were allowed to and blessed to take a spark of divinity with us. Does everyone know what I'm talking about?
Just a spark.
And that spark, family, is located both in uh,
Right.
from a bodily standpoint, a biological standpoint. That
Right.
spark is located in the male and female genitalia.
Right.
That spark is located bodily in the male and female genitalia. So we must keep this in mind, must keep it in mind. Very important. And it is the key to our ascension, our ascension. I'm going to be talking about the descent of the divine feminine and the inversion um, in terms of gravity today, in terms of how that created gravity, all right? Because this is a very important concept for us to understand. And we have to, family, not, we have to train ourselves not to just think of something in one way, all right? In one way. Because what you're going to find is that our divinity is expressed in a multitude of different ways. and in a multitude of aspects, because just like light is divided up when you shine it through a prism and it is separated, that singular light is separated in the prism. It is expressed in different in the different uh, degrees of that spectrum, in the different representations of that spectrum. But even in that diverse representation, it is still one thing, one thing. But in order for us, because we are in diversity, we are in duality, we are in apparent separation from our divinity, we must look at these things with what the scriptures refer to as a single eye, a singular eye, a healthy eye, an eye that is singular. All right? The scripture says if your eye is single, meaning if it's healthy, if it's whole, are you all with me? The body is full of light. In other words, you're able to know yourself in terms of wholeness, know yourself in terms of divinity, and know the apparent environment in the same way, if looked at, if viewed through the eye of singularity. All right? And that is that third eye. That is that activated third eye. So this is the approach that we take in terms of examining these things. So let there be darkness. We looked at Job, the 18th chapter, and it talks about this light, this divine light, this divine spark or ember that we all descended from divinity with. Job 18, 5 and 6. And it talks about this light. Yea, the light of the wicked shall be put out, and the spark of his fire shall not shine. This spark, this divine spark of divinity is what we are referring to here. The spark of the fire. Light shall be dark in his tabernacle, in his body, in his temple. Are you all with me? If thy eye be single, you have great light within the tabernacle, within the temple, within the body. Is everybody with me?
Yes, sir.
And his candle shall be put out with him. So if we fail, family, to activate this spark, to ignite it, to activate it, to raise it relative to the energy required, it's going to be put out. And now see, this is the death because of failure to reverse this innervation process, this innervation that
Right.
occurred as a result of the descent. Failure to
Absolutely.
reverse it, failure to invert it.
Reverse it. Right.
All right. So we want to talk about this stuff in simple terms, family, because it is pretty simple to understand. But again, now see, this scientific, social, perceptual engineering, it's an obstacle for us.
So Eitai.
Yes,
So what we can say when you talk about life and death is in the power of the tongue. We
yes,
have to look at that along with what we call the polarity
yes.
of good and evil, right and wrong, God and Satan,
That's correct.
life, death, all those things, Jim, because if you do not, you understand, activate the element that takes you back into wholeness, you will die to death.
That's
You
correct.
know?
That's correct.
Clear. That's
You'll
clear.
you'll continue to descend. And
Absolutely right.
then you have to, like Tina Marie was saying, you got to start it all over again.
Start it all over again.
And get your light, get your light, and start the process all over again.
All over again.
So Isaiah 9 says, and we covered this yesterday, we're doing a quick review. Nevertheless, the dimness shall not be such as was in her vexation. Well, who is the her?
Right, right.
Divine feminine. This is what we've been emphasizing, and this is what we've been saying, that you will not be able to understand any of this.
Not in duality.
Not in duality, and not realizing our beginnings, the beginnings
Right.
of our history here. And it began, family, with the descent first of the divine feminine.
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to talk about this and how this created this gravity. Now, see, this downward pull, all right?
Yes.
The downward pull. Nevertheless, the dimness shall be not such as was in her vexation, when at first he lightly afflicted the land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali. Again, we're going to come back and decode all of this, and it's going to fit into the overall framework, family. It's going to fit exactly into the overall framework. And afterwards, afterwards, meaning later on in the fall, lightly afflicted at first, right?
Right,
Lightly
right.
afflicted at first, because we had retained, we had retained our divine form. But afterward, during the course of time, during after many incarnations, all right, did more grievously afflict her
Right.
by the way of the sea. Look, beyond Jordan. Jordan means descender, that which goes down. Even beyond, now see, the bottom,
Right, right, right.
which is the underworld,
That's right.
which Kabbalistically is referred to as Malkuth, the kingdom. Follow me, y'all.
And see now, Eitai, see that ties into the concept of sub
Yes,
consciousness.
that's correct.
Right.
Right. The people that walked in darkness have seen a great light. Now, this light, if you have this messianic Christ, this aspect of divinity and a savior and a resurrector that is outside of you, you're still dualistic. The light that we're going to see is that inner light of our divinity,
Yes, yes.
the inner light of our divinity. No outward light nowhere. All right. The people that walked in darkness, they didn't even realize they was walking in darkness. Now see,
No, no.
this is what the father was saying, how could it be that this gross darkness is everywhere, but nobody can't see it?
Now, Eitai, the
Ah,
concept of walking in darkness, so family don't get confused about the light and the darkness. Let me give you a definition so that we can be clear about when you say walked in darkness. Let's use walking in darkness being duality, okay?
that's correct.
See, when you're walking in duality, you don't know that you're in duality.
That's
You
correct.
think you're doing everything, you understand, consciously, and that you're doing everything righteously.
Right. Well,
Fine.
Ben Ami addresses this, and it's a good point that you bring that up. He addresses this on page 72 of The Imitation of Life. And he says here that the adversary, by application of scientific social perception engineering, creates inverted energy. And this energy, power, turned to a contrary, this is energy or power turned into a contrary direction, change from what was the normal order.
Right.
Now we return to the two forces, duality.
Right.
The two forces, this is duality, it's a dualistic existence, which have two different perceptions
Right.
of this expending of evident
Okay.
energy or power.
There,
One
there you go.
perception is that the person is highly motivated and energetic. That is deception.
Right.
That is the notion that we all have, that when we were born, not seek it was a live birth,
Right.
that we were living. See,
Right.
that's a human, physical, material, dense perception. It's been inverted. If you
Absolutely.
have, knowledge, any knowledge of your divinity, you know when you look at your human self and perceive that is dead and dying, that is dead and dying. Isn't it a fact that when you look at the human experience, you start to age, right? And then you gain energy, and then you lose it, correct?
Right.
And then you lose it to the point where you don't have any, and we call that what? Death, or we call it, Nasi, expiring. Your time has expired.
Right.
And you did nothing again to do what? Cause that light to shine, energize it. Because of deception, you thought you were living, and you perceive that you are this highly motivated, energetic being. The other, in contradiction, and this is what the true nature of it is that we are inert,
That's the true nation.
that we are in need of activation. If not, why do you need to be resurrected? Why do you need to be resurrected? Why do you need to be saved?
That's correct.
Why do you need to ascend? Come on, because you've descended. But we don't understand this in terms of our divinity. We understand it only from human terms. Is that we were at a higher state, now see, when we obeyed the laws and commandments of God, and then we fell out of favor, and that's why we're in this position. No, no,
Yeah.
that's a false. That's
Nah,
that's scientific social perceptual engineering. That
there. Right.
the view is that you are inert because you were divine and descended over many generations, countless incarnations into an inert form, innervated, powerless. This is why our life experience, family, has been such. Why, as we'll see, the misery of man is great upon the earth. You are with me.
Yes.
Keep in mind that words, key, education can completely transform the chemical makeup of a soul, making it completely opposite in nature, perception, and effect. I put that word perception there. He talks about it. He infers it, but it's perception as well. All
That's
right,
absolutely correct. Correct.
and this is really important. This is really important, family, that we get this. So Ben Ami says, "Let there be darkness." Very curious. Genesis 1 and 3 said, "Let there be light," and light is this ordered arrangement, right? It speaks of this ordered arrangement, this hierarchical arrangement. All right.
Right. Right.
So we said that if you reverse the word order, you get this word der or,
Right.
which means in Hebrew, der or means free, freedom. All right.
Right.
We're going to talk in terms of how we were captured, how we were captured. And now, see, the symbology and the allegorical metaphors are just too clear. They just paint too clear a picture to ignore this. So, this word der or in Hebrew is H1865. If anyone wants to check me out on this and look it up. And it means to move rapidly as a bird in flight. This bird symbolism is going to be very important as we go forward. Figuratively speaking, der or means freedom, and the term as free as a bird is derived from this Hebraic thought. Thus, even the very words of the Hebrew language instruct us that if one desires freedom in the truest sense of the word, and let's be clear, we want to be free, Nasi, of this human condition,
Yes. Yes.
this physical condition that has its own laws that are against us. All of the laws relative to humanity are against, they're contrary to our divinity, which is our true nature, our organic nature. If we want to be free in the truest sense of the word, then we must move quickly to reverse, counter, or transcend the system of order imposed upon us by the usurpers, the custodians of the hierarchical, social, mental, cultural, economic, etc. construct. Again, carefully note that the Hebrew word for freedom, der or, is the diametrical opposite of the English word order. So you're not going to be able to maintain the order of humanity in order to escape humanity. Doesn't it make sense?
You cannot do that.
It don't make sense.
No way. Excellent point. Excellent point.
We want to we want to understand, family, this descent, all right, into the physical realms, and we're going to take a look at this article that I came across today when I was contemplating this. It's called The Law of Gender. The Law of Gender. And this is going to get us into our discussion of gravity, which is then going to lead us, Nasi, in talking about how to defy the laws of gravity
Uh-huh.
and ascend on up. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So, this Law of Gender by Natalia Kuna, and I'm quoting from the Kabbalah. I would suggest that everybody get that book, the Kabbalah. And it states gender is in everything. Listen, gender is in everything. Everything, family, everything has its masculine and feminine principles. See, in the patriarchy, we've only focused on the masculine. That has governed our lives. It has programmed us profoundly to look at things only from the masculine perspective. And remember this word repudiate. Now, see,
Uh-huh.
which talks about the divorcing or casting away or putting away of the wife, the divine feminine, the female, the feminine
Mm-hmm.
aspect. This is very profound that we understand this. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. Gender manifests on all planes. Please write
Right.
it down. Gender manifests on all planes. Creation, whether human or other matter, creation, whether human or other matter, necessitates a bonding, an agreement, a covenant, a marriage of female and male energies.
Wow.
I'm going to read that again. Creation,
Absolutely.
whether human or other matter, other material things, necessitates a bonding, that is an agreement, a covenant, a marriage, a union, a uniting of female and male energies. This is
Very powerful.
the core, listen, the core of the creation of all matter, right down to the atoms, electrons, protons, ions, quarks, quanta, I don't care how far you go down, constitute the principle of gender. Gender assists in generating manifestation. Hence, the actual term gender derives from the Latin root generare, which means to produce, to create, to generate. So if you're trying to produce, create, and generate something, anything, and you have not married yourself or reunited or reconciled with the divine feminine, well, there goes your life experience. This is why the misery of man has been great upon the earth.
Eitai,
Yes.
I don't mean to stop you, but that I need that like before now to go in my so that part right there.
Right.
You can tell me where I can get this from. You can email it to me. I gotta have it to put in there to finish up this marriage thing. That I told y'all I got asked about.
It's in the notes that I sent you today.
Oh, great, great,
In the
great,
notes that I
great,
sent you today. All right.
great, great,
Everybody should have this.
great.
Yeah, I knew you loved this.
Yeah, yeah.
Now here we go with the science. Now this is getting us into gravity. This is getting us into gravity. All right. The attraction of feminine electrons. Uh, write the word feminine down and write the word electric. This is divine science, family. The attraction of feminine electrons and masculine protons. Write the word masculine proton and then write down magnetic. Feminine electrons, electric, masculine protons, magnetic. Creates atoms. Male and female created he them.
Wow.
This gonna explain everything.
Yeah.
Understand it. When the feminine electron unites with the masculine proton, the creative process begins. Now, this is just the beginning of the creative process. It is energetic, family, from beginning to end. It's energetic. Feminine particles, listen, vibrate rapidly under the influence of masculine energy. It's raising its vibration. The masculine raises the vibration of the feminine. The masculine raises the vibration of the feminine. All right? It moves upon the face of the waters. The waters
Yes.
are calm and still, but all creative principle was inherent in it.
Yes. Yes.
Right? The mayim or the mom or the mommy. All right? The feminine principle.
Wow.
And the masculine, what? Moved on the face of the waters. What? Causing it to vibrate rapidly under its influence. And then the feminine particles circle rapidly around the masculine, creating a vortex of energy, drawing it in. Creating this vortex, this net that draws the masculine in. So what do y'all think happened during the descent? When the feminine descended, along in that vortex, energetically, it drew the masculine after it.
Sure did.
Straight downward, family. I'm giving you the science. The result is the birth of a new Adam. The new Adam, family, was called what was called the physical. All right? Was called the physical, was called the material. And in the scripture, the atom, the atom became the Adam. All right?
There you go. There you go.
And it was a singular entity. Now, see, male and female, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the earlier stages until what? The feminine and the masculine separated.
Right.
All right? The result is the birth of a new atom composed of a union of masculine protons and feminine electrons. The first manifestation and expression is androgynous, both qualities.
Right.
Qualities, but over time, we began to lose that androgynous feature, and masculine and feminine separated.
So, Eitai, I would say that the descent and the continued descent
Yes,
is caused the greater loss of the energy of consciousness
correct.
that caused split, you know.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely
Uh-huh.
correct. Absolutely correct. I'm going to pause here because that's an excellent point.
Again, another outstanding class.
Toda.
It's getting clearer and clearer.
Very good, brother. Glad to hear it.
I have a question to the family.
Okay.
Family, what are your suggestions? Do you have, first of all, do you have any suggestions that you feel that will help the process become more precise and clear, as we continue on this particular, journey that we're on. Do you have any, ideas of yourself? I mean, you kind of know yourself where you figure it, because we done said and continue to say, the fundamental thing that needs to be understood, but not trying to rush. I'm just asking the question, do you want you to feel free to say, I feel thus and thus would help me, because you,
Right.
kind of know where you are.
Right. Right.
Now, you don't have to answer right now. Make notes of it and bring it back tomorrow for tomorrow's class. Okay?
Just consider it. Yes.
Right.
Because, like, we said before, we can look at this thing from a number of different angles. And we've been doing that. But if there's something that you're not clear on, think about that, and we'll approach it from that angle.
Right.
Approach it from that angle to look. We make our own time here. We're on our own time, so it's not. It's not that we got some type of agenda. We want this portion understood, but we can approach it from a number of different angles, not just from the scriptures. If we need to go to some or suggest some things to read, we'll do it that way as well. Or bring bring those articles, bring those portions, to bear. If that is perfect. But whatever you all suggest, whatever is going to make it, easier for you. Think about it.
Okay. Nobody else got no questions or points of I'll go back to my original statement. What is the humanity that one is struggling with?
Right.
And let me give you the answer. It says what you're struggling with is to let go of your own duality, trying to reconcile with wholeness as your own divinity. To let go of your own duality, trying to reconcile with wholeness as your own divinity. Yeah. So we look at duality being this physical element that everybody's struggling with.
Right.
And you're trying to reconcile with wholeness, divinity and oneness.
Dang.
That's it.
All right.
All right, family. Same time, same channel tomorrow.
All right.
When you gonna be ready to go?
Sounds good.
After tomorrow.
All right, that's good. That'll bring me to the end of this tomorrow. Then, so then we'll prepare. We'll start to prepare for you. All right.
Okay, that'll work.
All right. All right, family.
All right, then. Torah Bar again.
Wholeness.
Wholeness.